What is up, everyone? I am Fernando. I am your host of SportsTimeHQ. Joined with me today is my great co-host, Keith, but he's not doing too great today, or at least this week. Keith, I am sorry about your Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, Fernando, why'd you have to start off hard with me like that? But now what are you gonna do? They played well for one half. I actually played great in the first half, I thought, and then it all went downhill after that. But what are you gonna do? We weren't really expected to make the playoffs at all, so it was good to be there. Team's the young team, like we all know, and I've said before. But looking forward to the off season now, and what happens next season.
I mean, your Seahawks ended up pulling a Buccaneers. Realistically, I mean, that game and the Buccaneers and Cowboys game were the only two games that were decided by more than one score.
Yeah, I mean, at halftime in our game, you wouldn't have said it was going to be a blowout, but we just didn't get going second half, and the 49ers totally upped their game. The Bucks game, Tom Brady never started. He never got going. The receivers were running one way, he was throwing the ball the other. I mean, they just weren't on the same page. He actually looked old for once, which was very surprising. But all credit goes to the Cowboys. I thought Dak played great. The defense played great, and they deserved their win.
Yeah, and of course, let's get right into the Super Wild Card Weekend recap. Of course, up on the screen on the top, it's all the games that we are going to recap. We've already touched on Seattle and San Francisco, but I do want to ask you about San Francisco. Do they look elite and they could make it to the Super Bowl?
Well, yeah, my thing was, for the Seahawks to win, could they get to Purdy? Could he crumble? And he was fine under pressure, and CMC had a good game. Debo, all the players came to the fore, and then their defense stepped up in the second half. So, yep, we weren't surprised by the 49ers. They've been great all season, really, and that's what they showed, especially in that second half. So I think they're still, Super Bowl contenders.
I mean, 332 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions for Brock Purdy. Still looking Purdy to me.
Still looking Purdy. I mean, we can't really knock him. It's going to be the biggest thing. If he goes on to win the Super Bowl, I think we'll be talking about him over kind of Brady when he came into the league first, all that stuff. So, but still got a few more games to go, but he's definitely looking good.
I just had a definitely not a dynasty draft, a dynasty trade in one of my leagues, and it was the 1.06 pick for Brock Purdy and George Pickens. I think it was a little bit. I'd rather have the 1.06.
Yeah, I'd rather have the 106 just because. So say
Purdy was just a free pickup. That's all he was.
That's all he was, exactly, and it's just getting, I don't know, big value. But I mean, it's still, what are you going to do? Okay, say he wins the Super Bowl, you're probably saying he is going to start next year, but it's hard with, I think Jimmy G will be out of there, but Trey Lance, they put so much into him. What do you do? Yeah. So it's kind of a tough one. I like George Pickens, but I think it's it's going to be a slow burner there for that whole offense in Pittsburgh. So yeah, I'd rather the 106.
I would have traded maybe like an early second for that, in my opinion, or maybe the 1.12 or like 1.11. But that's
if I was trading away the 106, I'd want more, I think, than just Purdy and Pickens back.
Oh yeah, I'd want a lot more, especially because that's in a super flex league. You can get a quarterback right there.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah.
But anyways, moving on from the San Francisco and Seattle game, just want to mention the 49ers beat the Seahawks 41-23. Going on to the Saturday night game, that was an absolute wild game. It started off as if it was the game was over by halftime. Instead, it ends up being a game towards the end, and MJD decided to call it. He decided to call the game exactly how it played out, that the Jaguars would come back and they would win with a last-second field goal.
Yep.
And that's what they ended up doing. 31-30 was the final score. Jaguars move on. Keith, what was your thoughts on that game?
It was crazy. I mean, nobody really seen the second half coming after, Trevor Lawrence's, interception first half, riddled first half, really. They couldn't get it going. I didn't think the Chargers looked great, but they just took advantage of all the interceptions, and most of them gave them great field position. Um, yeah, and then they completely kind of busted in the second half. They let the Jags back into it, and once they got ahead of steam, they kind of didn't keep going. So, all credit to Trevor Lawrence though, because he only played for one half of football, and he managed to pull the win out in a big game.
Yeah, I mean, 27-0 at one point, and then it comes back to be the final score of 31-30. I don't know if you saw the bet that was placed at halftime that someone bet $1.4 million that the Chargers would go on to win the game. That person would have only won just over
11.
$11,000.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see that was an insane bet? Why would you bet that?
Because you have more money than sense. That's why.
You could have got maybe triple of that if you bet on the Jaguars to win.
I know, but that's too risky then, I suppose. But you still lose at the end of the day.
It's a lose-lose situation, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, of course, ended up coming back, winning this game 31-30, and Jaguars move on. And I do want to mention that Trevor Lawrence is still undefeated on Saturdays.
On Saturdays, yep.
I mean, does that mean that they go on to beat the Chiefs next weekend? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But going on to our next game, Miami and Buffalo. We mentioned how Miami and Buffalo, that game and another game later on Sunday was going to be a cakewalk. Well, the Bills didn't look good at all. They looked absolutely horrendous. Skylar Thompson, I mean, he started actually doing pretty good. And I mean, Keith, imagine Miami won this game? Like,
I know. I think we were saying that, maybe halfway through or more. I think you posted, and some other people were like, "Oh my God, Miami could actually win this game." In the end, I suppose the Bills, class came to the fore and they got there in the end, but they made hard work of it big time. I've been saying it kind of all year. This Bills defense is not. It's average at best, I think, and I think that was exposed by Skylar Thompson, who I think he was picked just before Brock Purdy in the draft.
Yeah.
So maybe that's got a thing going. These late round picks are actually playing with no fear and showing up. But I didn't think he was anything brilliant. But they gave them a game. We all thought a blowout, 10+ points, maybe more of a win. They just they got across the line at the end, which is the main thing in playoff situation football. But it doesn't give me a lot of hope and confidence if I was a Bills fan going into this week against the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo Bills.
Bills are in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still in the house for now.
Yeah, but I mean, they did not look good. I mean, Mac Jones, not Mac Jones. Sorry to bring him up.
Yeah, you have to get your Patriots in somewhere, don't you? Every time.
Every time. Just got to casually add a little Patriots bedazzle on there. But no, Buffalo Bills ended up winning that game 34-31. But of course, Josh Allen, he threw interceptions, and he threw multiple interceptions. And I mean, Skylar Thompson, he as well threw 2 interceptions. But the game call, I mean, it was just, can the Bills actually beat the Bengals? And in my opinion, I think both those teams don't look like they can beat each other at all, because, I mean, we'll skip the Giants and Vikings, go right into the Baltimore-Cincinnati game. But that game was also a crazy game that was decided by a Tyler Huntley sneak in with 2 yards to go.
He tries to jump over the line way too far out, gets knocked out by Logan Wilson. Sam Hubbard runs 98 yards to basically seal the win. I mean, the Bengals, it was hard work for them. They kind of just lived on all the Ravens' mistakes too. But again, it's all about just getting the win and getting over the line. It wasn't pretty football to watch, I suppose. I suppose the thing you could say about these 2 games, the Buffalo and Cincinnati game, division games, are always tough. They're way tougher than
exactly
normal games. So they got that going for them. But it's going to be an interesting game. I think like last week's games go out the window now when it's Buffalo Cincinnati. So I know we'll be talking about that later. So it's going to scrap that and focus on them.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Huntley, he looked good, but you also got to mention Lamar Jackson. He didn't play, but he also was not there at the game, which was interesting to see. So it almost seems to me that he decided not to play. I think he was healthy enough that he could have played, but he didn't want to play because he wants to go somewhere else.
You think? Yeah.
I think so, because why would you not show up to a playoff game for your own team?
Yeah, I know. I was surprised he wasn't there. I'd be just very, very surprised. I mean, what are they going to get back? Probably a crazy load of picks, but they're probably saying, are their their hope for the next few years, for the Super Bowl is probably gone. I mean, I
Yeah.
know they're not going to make it this year and all that, but they have a better chance with Lamar next year than, I don't know, another rookie that they're going to get or whoever they're going to get back from. So it'd be just strange if they did get rid of him.
I mean, I posted a question out on Twitter saying, what will Lamar Jackson's jersey be? What uniform will he be playing under? And obviously, many people ended up saying that he might go to Atlanta, the Falcons.
They're not going anywhere fast, though, even if they do have Lamar Jackson.
I think there is a chance, though. Only reason I
Oh,
say
I'm not saying I don't think there's a chance, but I don't think they're going to be winning things instantly just because Lamar goes there.
but the offense would look really good. I mean, you got Lamar Jackson, Kyle Pitts, and then you also have Drake London. And if you end up drafting a top running back in this year's draft, or even like keeping on with Tyler Algier, I mean, that's a solid offense. Your defense doesn't look that great, but I mean, your offense looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does. The only thing I would say about that, what was the point of drafting Desmond Ritter? I get he wasn't a top guy, but you're playing him now. Maybe they just don't like the look of him. But yeah, I don't know if it's interesting. I think there's going to be a lot like the Raiders, but it seems like Tom Brady is going to be maybe they're going to go for him. I hear the Dolphins again, but Tua can't be. Tua has to be still coming back. So I don't know. Oh, there
Lamar
we go.
Jackson.
There's our Patriots. There's our Patriots. I've seen that flashed up real quick. Everybody's saying the Patriots. That's because you got on the bandwagon now, and everybody else is jumping on. Is that how it is?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta help the bandwagon, but I mean, you got David also here. He wants to stay healthy. Look what happened to RG3 in Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good point, and you know what? I really think that Lamar Jackson's not going to be a Raven, and I think that if they do decide to franchise tag him, that they're going to franchise tag him, but then they're going to trade him. So it's going to be like a sign and trade type of deal.
Sign and trade. Yeah, like they do with in the basketball all the time.
Yeah, and he's not going to play for Baltimore anymore unless either if there was a coaching problem, then they would have to do something with the coach. But John Harbaugh's been there for how many years?
Yeah, he's been there a while, so I don't
They're
know.
not going to get rid of him.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. They have a definitely an interesting offseason ahead of them. He obviously wants some serious guaranteed money since we heard they offer him whatever 250.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. So
he wants 40 plus. That's what.
Yeah, that's what it is. So it's whoever's going to give it to him, he'll just end up with.
Yeah, and you know what? We mentioned the franchise tag on Lamar Jackson, but someone who could have got a 5th-year option may have to sit on a franchise tag next year is Daniel Jones, who actually ends up beating Mr. Fraudulent Vikings that Keith has called. He called the Vikings frauds, and you know what? They were frauds. 31-24 was the final score. The Giants ended up winning that game, but Daniel Jones I don't know about Brian Dable, but he needs to be. If he's not coach of the year, I don't know why he's not. There's a problem if he's not.
I mean, yeah, I think he's definitely the hot favorite right now. Daniel Jones, that's the best game of football I've ever seen him play. Whatever, Dayball's got him going like a mini Josh Allen with his legs, and it's working. Kirk Cousins, never mind the rest of the game. That last 4th and 8, whatever it was.
Why would you throw a 3-yard pass?
Why? You were never going to get it. I mean, that's just got Kirk Cousins' average quarterback written all over it. I mean, that was just terrible. So, yeah, the frauds, I've been calling them all year. The Vikings are out. And this was the game I think you said if there was going to be kind of the upset, then, it would be the Giants beating the Vikings, and you got it right. So I went with the Vikings, but yeah, I'm really not surprised they got beaten, and they deserved it in the end. So I'm glad the Giants are rolling on and the Vikings are out.
Yeah, and I picked the Vikings as well with you, but I said that this game's a toss-up game. It could go either way. I mean, and of course it ended up going the way that we both did not expect or did not want anyways. And of course, Brian Dable and Daniel Jones ended up doing it. Kenny Galladay's still irrelevant, but Isaiah Hodgins, he's doing good.
Isaiah Hodgins looks great. I mean,
signed him in November.
Yeah, I heard somebody had to go out. Slayton went out because he was hurt, and they were like, "Oh, they have to bring Kenny Galladay in now." And I was like, "Seriously? He doesn't just come in anyway?" But paying that guy 18 mil or whatever a year is crazy. But Hodgins looks like the guy that should be getting 18 mil a year. He's been very consistent and one of Jones's favorite targets, so he's interesting for next season.
8 receptions, 105 yards, and a score for
Mm-hmm.
Hodgins. And I mean,
would you take him in fantasy next season though? Would you be looking at like a flex?
He reminds me of a Gabe Davis type of player where it's a playoff run and Hodgins is going to be that guy that's going to be that playoff hero, but I don't really think he's going to be that worthy in fantasy.
Okay.
I mean, I really think the Vikings are going to add a weapon next year, whether in the draft
the
or
Giants. The Giants are going to.
What did I say?
Vikings.
Oh yeah, I meant the Giants. The Giants definitely. Vikings definitely don't need a receiving core, but it was smart of me to draft JJ.
What did he get you? 11 points though.
He got me 11 points. I could not believe it.
I mean, that Kevin O'Connell and that offense, they just called some crazy plays at times. I mean, like when it was down and things were tough, just get the ball to JJ. That should have been the call over and over again.
And I understand that he was guarded and everything. And I think here's the thing. I think the play that was going to Hawkinson, I think that they wanted to go to Hawkinson because one, Hawkinson was the pass catcher the whole game. He was one of the leaders. But I think they were hoping that he was going to break the tackle. But if you're running that type of play, why don't you just run to the first down, then break?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Do they draft a quarterback in the draft this year?
I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Isn't his contract up soon?
I think he's got one more year.
Maybe? One more year, so I thought, yeah. So I don't know. I heard all these rumors that they were going to go and trade for Zach Wilson, put him behind Kirk Cousins till he's finished, but I don't know how true that is. But yeah, other than that, they could go for some in the draft.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I could see maybe like if Lamar Jackson goes to the Patriots or when he goes to the Patriots, I think I
when
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like Mac Jones ends up getting traded there.
I mean, that's interesting. You could be just replacing Kirk Cousins with maybe a bit better version of Kirk Cousins though in the future. That's the only thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, that could be interesting. I'd imagine if somehow you get Lamar Jackson, the Mac Jones is out there anyway. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then you'll probably just get a couple of picks back from Mac Jones, which will work out in your favor.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins ends up having one more year on his contract. He has next year his base salary 10 mil, signing bonus of 6.2 mil, his roster bonus is 20 mil, gets a cap hit of $36 million, and yeah, he gets a $48 million dead cap if they ends up somehow cutting him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it doesn't really work out in the Vikings' favor anyway, so I don't think they'll be cutting him.
No, definitely not. We got Cincinnati Bengals going to the Super Bowl. See, no biasness here. You want the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl.
So you're telling me they're going to the Super Bowl? Okay.
I'm not. My dad is.
Oh, okay.
He's saying. I don't think so. His prediction was the Bengals and the Bucks.
Okay, well, he's still in a chance at one side.
Yeah. NFC's a little toast, but the AFC's not burnt just yet.
No. You need to get by the Bills and then see what happens.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. We'll see when we talk about the divisional round preview. But lastly, Monday night, of course, that was just completely lopsided. It was all Dallas the whole way. And I mean, it was interesting to see because we thought that this was going to be a closer game, but we also thought it could be a game where it could be won by 2+ scores. And it ended up being 2+ scores being decided there that way. And Tampa Bay just did not look good. And I really think Todd Bowles needs to get fired.
Yep, I'm with you with that one. I mean, since Todd Bowles came in, they have not been the same team. Then again, I don't think Brady did him any favors. He wasn't good. I don't think, the defense started off well and then kind of crumbled. They just couldn't, hang on. Dak played really well. Mm-hmm. He couldn't stop Dalton Schultz. I think he had a couple of touchdowns.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, once the Cowboys got rolling, that was it. They were not to be stopped. But we touched on it earlier. I thought the Bucs were bad. Tom Brady was bad. It was just a bad night overall and a great night for the Cowboys.
What about, can we talk about Dallas's kicker, Brett Maher?
Oh, dear Lord, Maher. Every time I was like, really? He missed again? Oh, he hit the post and it went the other side. How does he keep doing this?
He went right above the crossbar too, like right above that pole.
It's like, and then they're like, oh, you feel sorry for him. I was like, no, you can't keep doing that. Like, just kick one down the middle. Come on.
He missed more field goals in Monday night than he missed all season.
Yeah. what do you do? I suppose I was like, let the punter kick, or ask one of the wide receivers, can they kick it over? Go on, or just go for 2 every time.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
that was crazy. I wasn't expecting. Okay, he's missed 1. Okay, he's missed 2. Okay, he's missed 3. Oh wait, 4. It was getting out of hand.
I mean, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw Peyton Manning, that clip of Peyton Manning. He walked off the set in the Peyton Eli broadcast. He walked off the set and was like, "I'm done." And that was after the third missed kick.
Oh, there was still 1 more to go.
Yeah, and then I think the fourth one is when Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Lions, was there with them, and he was like, they were all dumbfounded. They couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either. I was like, seriously.
Imagine, I cannot.
Imagine just being him. Imagine the kicker though. He'd be like, "Oh."
I think he was also in shock.
Maybe he should just try his other foot or something. That foot's no use. Kick it with the other one and see what happens.
He must have forgot that the rules changed for the extra points. That it went from the 2-yard line to the
yeah.
Must have forgot about that because he would have had it.
Yeah, I seen that Mike McCarthy said they're going to stick with him or whatever. I was like, well, yeah. The poor dude, he had 1 bad game. I mean, if he sucks again, then yeah, he might be in trouble. But
I think it's worth keeping Brett here for obviously he's been there, so I think it's worth keeping him. Don't need to cut him. You still ended up winning against the Bucs very handily, 31-14. But now it comes to this is the divisional round. Now there can't be no mistakes because now there's only 8 teams left. You can't mess up 4 kicks.
Exactly. I mean, you're just giving points away. They got away with it as well because it was basically a blowout. But if it was a closer game, they'd be in big trouble.
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking, I was like, wow, imagine this ends up being a close game and they lose by like 3 or 4 points just because of that.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be definitely not coming back to the Cowboys if it was his fault for losing that game. So hopefully it doesn't happen to him again, this week against the 49ers because they're definitely going to need every point that they can get against them.
Is this Brady's last game?
I don't think he'll go out like that. I think he'll end up with the Raiders for a year, or maybe I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to you guys for a year and ends it. But no, I don't think he will. But I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the Raiders, maybe for a year or 2 max, depending on what they can do. I mean, the Raiders have to go all in. So is Brady, their fix there. Devontae Adams, probably need to fix a lot of issues on their defense, but probably get a lot of free agents in there to sort that out and make a run and see what happens. That's what I think.
I'm going to be curious to see what will happen with Tampa Bay. Of course, we may see a rookie next year in Tampa Bay. We might see Derek Carr there. Who knows? Maybe it could be a Derek Carr and Tom Brady flop,
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. I don't think Derek Carr would be getting anything better than he was at the Raiders, but I think there's, if he ended up with the Jets, I think there'd be, they're going places. It might be next year or the year after, but Derek Carr is still young enough that he could probably win something with them.
Of course, you see the teams that were playing on the screen. Super wild card weekend. Of course, San Francisco, the Jaguars, the Bills, the Giants, the Bengals, and the Cowboys end up advancing. Was really hoping I would get to say the Bucs, but ends up not being that. But now we got the divisional round, and it's time to preview the divisional round here. Of course, 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, 1 from the AFC, 1 from the NFC for both days. Starting off with the Jaguars and the Kansas City game. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think a lot of people are expecting a blowout. I think it might be a little bit closer. It might be maybe like a 30-28 type of score. Kansas City still probably wins the game, but I mean, you still don't forget Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, he has never lost on Saturday. This could be the first time he loses on Saturday, or this might be the first time he beats Kansas City and just ends up going to the AFC Championship. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it'll be a good game. I think this got all the marks to be a high-scoring game. I don't think Kansas City will blow them out. I think maybe a touchdown, 10 points, maybe kind of win. Not like not like a Seattle getting beaten by the 49ers type of game or the Bucs and the Cowboys. But I still think Trevor will put up. He can't do what he did in the first half against the Chargers. He needs to play now for both halves and give his best shot. I get it. He's probably a bit nervous last week, so all the cobwebs are out now. It's a big game against the Chiefs. Him against Mahomes. Time for him to show what he's made of. But I think it'll be a good game. I expect the Chiefs to win, like I said. But I think I think Trevor will turn up, play his best football, and give the team the best chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville and Kansas City, they played earlier this year, and Kansas City ended up beating them 27-17. So it was still a close game. It was only a 10-point game, and there was a chance the Jaguars were possibly going to win that game. But Kansas City pulled out, and this is still at home against Kansas City. And now in the divisional, it's still at home in Kansas City. Of course, Arrowhead, one of the loudest stadiums. I think it's going to be hard for Trevor Lawrence, but I think if this is a stepping stone to prove that he is a good quarterback and he deserves a future in the NFL. I mean, he already deserves a future in the NFL, especially with Doug Peterson there. Absolutely great franchise. But I think this really solidifies that he is a future quarterback, future Hall of Famer, possibly.
Yeah, it's probably early to say Hall of Famer. Maybe that it shows that they're going places and they can win a Super Bowl. It's probably definitely a year too soon, maybe 2 years too soon. But you'll see what they're made of. We'll see what the Jags are like, you know what I mean, against a team like the Chiefs. Not many people are talking about the Chiefs because, Tyreek Hill's gone up, but they're quietly going about their business, beating teams. Mahomes doing his thing. He's in contention for MVP and all that. But yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I hope that, Lawrence shows his best side. I think he will turn up. He'd be very confident after the win against the Chargers and the way he played in the second half. So, they could catch the Chiefs cold. They've had the game and they're going.
The bye week.
Exactly, the Chiefs had the bye week, so they could catch them cold and come out and start off well and be up by a few points, and then it's up to the Chiefs to hit back. So I'm interested to see how this game goes.
Of course, Kansas City has beat the Jaguars the last 6 times that they have met. The last time the Jaguars have won was back in 2009 when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs 24-21.
Okay, close game.
And that's when MJD was playing.
Oh, you still playing, was it? Okay.
MJD actually scored that game. He scored in the fourth quarter
to
solidify the win.
Yeah, so it's definitely been a while. Been a while.
You know who the quarterback for both teams were?
No.
Matt Castle for the Chiefs.
Dear Lord.
And David Garrard for the Jaguars.
Yeah, okay. Matt Castle's still probably hanging around somewhere as a backup, is he?
Probably. But yeah, 2009 was the last time the Chiefs lost to the Jaguars, and I think this is the year maybe we could see another upset in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Shock me.
That's the only team that would have a chance to upset because obviously Kansas City, number 1 seed, and then Buffalo and Cincinnati, they're both 2 and 3, if I'm correct. So yeah. So interesting to see. We'll make our game picks after this. Now you go to a divisional game. Eagles and Giants. Now the Giants have not beat the Eagles this season. 2 losses to the Eagles. Do the Giants upset the number 1 seed here?
I think they have a chance with... I'm just reading the comments. Sorry. Love to see the Jags beat the Chiefs. So would I. Going back to the Giants, I think they have a great chance if Daniel Jones is going to play like he did against the Vikings. I mean, if he has another one of them performances, he's going to give himself and the team the best chance to win against the Eagles. I think this is going to be closer than what people think. I think this could be like a 3-point game. Jalen Hurts is coming back. I think they will be a bit rusty on offense starting off. I think the Giants are just going to start fast. And if they play like they did against the Vikings, I think they're going to cause the Eagles all sorts of problems. Divisional game, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be a slog. Lots of bragging rights involved. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is an upset and the Giants somehow win. But yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be another good game.
The Eagles have outscored the Giants 70-38, but this season. But their last matchup, their last meeting was the Eagles and Giants in January 8th. That was 9 days ago. 9 days ago. The Giants ended up losing that game by 6 points. But I want to mention, Daniel Jones did not play that game. Jalen Hurts did.
There you go. So Danny Dimes plays like he did against the Vikings. Could be going to the NFC Championship. Who knows?
24-23 type of game, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tight. I mean, the Giants are playing some really good football. Brian Dable's got them moving well on both sides of the ball. The Eagles have been fantastic all season. Jalen Hurts been fantastic. If they can start off hot, then it could be one-way traffic. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be a bit of a slog, and there might be a kick in it at the end.
Yeah, I really think it's going to come down to the very end. But who knows? We could also see a blowout. I mean, the first time this season they played December 11th, Eagles won 48-22.
Yeah, I mean that's what the Eagles are capable of.
Yeah.
But then again,
their ceiling for this game, I really want to say, is 40 points, but their floor is maybe 20.
Yeah. On the other side of that is the Giants are going to play a lot better than what they did then, and as the season went on, they played better. I think they had a bit of a stumble in between, but they got over the line at the end, and Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley are playing great. So, yeah, I don't see this being a blowout. Anyways, I think it'll be tight enough in the end.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the Bird can do to these Giants. Who knows? We may see the 6th seed going to the NFC Championship, like you mentioned.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
6th seed.
Imagine we had the first 2 games. Imagine it was the Jags and the Giants. I mean,
the visiting teams taking out the number 1 seeds.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine the Giants and Jaguars in the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, I don't.
It can't happen. Surely can't.
It can't happen. But I mean, even if they both got through this week, that'd be like their Super Bowl, going to the championship game, the NFC Championship game.
I guess we'll have to see what the number 1 seeds can do, if they can take down the 4th seed and the 6th seed. But Sunday games, we got 2 games: Cincinnati versus Buffalo.
Uh-oh. Me versus you.
Yeah. Me versus you, of course, because you have the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl. And whichever team wins will break the other person's bracket. So yeah. I do want to mention Cincinnati, Buffalo. The last time they were played, the game was never finished. So I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen. This time it's in Buffalo, but I think it's going to be a lot of chills. A lot of things are going to happen. It's going to be a lot of emotions. And I think I really think it might be more of a low scoring game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it will be low score, and I think I'd be back in the under if I was betting on this game. Going by both teams' performances to get this far. Last week wasn't exactly impressive, but like we said, division games, they are slogs. But I think that Buffalo's performance wasn't good in particular, just because of what they were up against in the third string quarterback. Then again, you could say Cincinnati up against a backup in Huntley. But then again, I like Huntley. I think Huntley can start in this league. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be I think if another team makes a mistake, the other team will have to take advantage. That will be the type of game it is to get ahead. I don't think it's going to be. I think everybody's going to be looking forward to this, thinking this, Burrow will be throwing this much. And Allen, I don't think so. I think it's going to be probably a bit of a boring game, to be honest. I'm more excited about the other games over this one. I think it'll be a slog, and we know who I want to win. But it's going to be the Bengals. But I think it's going to be a tough one.
I mean, David disagrees. He doesn't think it's going to be an easy game, but he thinks Buffalo wins by 3.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if Buffalo's defense is going to hold up, then fine. But since Von Miller went out and all that, they haven't been good enough.
Micah Hyde might be back.
And they're saying that's going to make a big difference. But I don't know. What I've seen against a Skylar Thompson quarterback trade wasn't impressive, and I've been saying all season that they're going to need to outscore teams, to win games. And I don't think they're be able to outscore the Bengals by a whole lot. But who knows? Man, if Buffalo get there, they've got every chance then on, because I think this is going to be their biggest test until the actual. I think So what winner of this gets basically KC or the Jags. So
So are you saying if Buffalo wins, they go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think they'll beat KC. All right. There's a lot of history there. They want revenge for the whole 13-second game or whatever that was. I think they'll go to Super Bowl, but I just think the Bengals will. I think it'll be the Bengals by a kick.
Last time these two teams did the last 3 meetings with these two teams, not including this year, it was decided by 4 points in all 3 of those games. Buffalo won 21-17 back in 2019. Back in 2017, Cincinnati won 20-16, and then back in 2016, Cincinnati ended up losing that game as well. Buffalo won 16-12. So I think it's going to be very close, and this is a game that I still. Oh, by the way, the over/under is 50 points.
Oh, I'm under all day long.
Yeah, I really think it's more. It's going to be more of maybe like, I don't know. I really could see like a 23-20, 24-21. I could see something like that. I don't see it going to 50 plus.
Well, both teams are capable to score all day. I just don't think they will.
I think it's just more of a touching game that I don't think it's going to be high scoring.
And you also got to throw into the fact that it's in Buffalo. It depends what the conditions are. I know, like, we're not too far away from here. We've just had snow. I don't know whether they have snow down there or what it's going to be like, but it's definitely going to be cold, and that'll affect the game big time.
Wonder what the forecast is going to be for the Buffalo Bills. Sunday they play. It's going to be snowing 34 degrees.
There you go. So, yeah, we got snow here. We usually up in Toronto, so whatever we get, they get half the time. So, yeah, it's going to be snowing and cold. So that's going to have a big effect on the game. So if it snows beforehand, it'd be run heavy, I'd imagine. Not a lot of throwing.
Here's the thing. Can you send the snow to New England? Because I would love snow.
Why'd you want snow?
I love snow. You can't go wrong with snow.
You just want to make a snowman or something?
No, but I mean, snow is
yes. No, but yes.
Would you rather have snow or would you rather have rain?
Oh, I'd rather have snow.
Exactly.
Why did you just get rain all the time in New England?
We've been getting rain. It was raining earlier today. Okay. I wish it was snow.
We get a lot of rain now. You get rain, yeah. We got a good bit. It washes away the snow and then gets cold again. The snow comes back.
Yeah. Who wins in a matchup, snow or rain?
Yeah, vote, people. Vote. It's snow.
We got my dad saying Cincinnati wins 35-31. So he's definitely going to be smashing the over on the spread.
Oh yeah, he's putting your life savings on that spread.
Yeah, I guess so.
you better hope he wins.
But another 4-point game.
Yeah.
Another 4-point game.
Yeah.
So going to the last game, Dallas versus San Francisco. This is a game where it could be a very high-scoring game, but both defenses are so good that it could also be a very low-scoring game. And I mean, Dallas, we've seen have their ups and downs all season. San Francisco stayed hot, has not lost since October. I mean, what's your thought on this game?
It's whether Dallas can be consistent, put 2 great performances in a row up. Like if they come out like they played against the Commanders in week 18, well, then it's going to be a steamroller for the 49ers again. Dak needs to come out and play like he did last week or just on Monday, I suppose, against the Bucs. He needs to come out, play great, get the offense rolling. Like we didn't see a whole lot of defense, I suppose. I know that interception with Brady, but that was more Brady's fault. He should have just threw it away. He just didn't put enough on it. It was just terrible. It was an easy catch for Curse at the back. But yeah, I still think that the 49ers are going to give them more than enough problems to score a lot of points. It's whether that Cowboys can kind of keep up with them and, take advantage where they can of some mistakes. Maybe Purdy will crumble this week. I don't think so. After seeing him last week, I think he looks confident. I think he looks good. The play call was great as well.
Yeah.
So, if all that continues, I don't see how the Cowboys can beat the 49ers, to be honest.
Last time they played was back in the playoffs last year when the San Francisco 49ers eliminated the Cowboys. It was a score of 23-17, but of course, 2 different teams right now. Of course, San Francisco is on a hot streak with not Jimmy Garoppolo, but with Brock Purdy. So that is definitely a difference maker. But you go back in the series, Dallas Cowboys are leading the series between the San Francisco 49ers 19-18-1. So realistically, it's been a back and forth history between these two teams, and Buffalo has won. Dallas has won the last 3 of the 4 games, or 3 of the last 4 games. So I'm curious to see if Dallas can win it.
Yeah, I mean, it's another great game, and I hope it's a high scoring game, and Dak shows up and puts on a bunch of points, because I think we all know kind of San Fran will, even if Purdy's not on his game, I think he'll run through CMC, and there's not many people and many teams that are going to be able to stop him. So I think it's going to be I think this one's going to be a high scoring game, but I don't think the Cowboys will be able to keep up, though. I think they may get into the fourth quarter and keep it tight, but I think at some stage 49ers will run away.
49ers are favored in this game by 4 points. And the spread, the over-under is 46 points.
Okay. I could see the over 46.
I could see easily the over. I think that's a low number.
Should flip the Cincinnati and Buffalo one with that one, and then that may be more realistic. But I think somewhere between 4 and 7, like 4 and 7 points will be the margin of victory, I think.
33-31.
Yeah, 33-31. You're going for 2 points. I think it'll be more. I think I could see San Fran. I think if it's going to be Dallas, I think it's going to be only by a couple of scores. But if it's San Fran, I think I can see them winning by 6 or 7 points.
Really? So you think that Dallas would run away with it?
It's 49ers run away.
Yeah, that's what I meant. 49ers would run away.
Yeah, well, not run away, but I think they can win by 2 kicks or a touchdown in the end. I just don't. The Cowboys have been so inconsistent all season. I just feel like it's hard for them to put back-to-back great performances in. And I think they kind of had it easy against the Bucs with how bad the offense for the Bucs was and how bad Brady was. So like they didn't really get a test if that game had been closer, and they'd still want to kind of go, okay, Dallas has a real chance here, but I still think that the 49ers can win this.
It'll be interesting to see. Before we go on to our playoff fantasy draft, I do want to ask you the picks for this weekend. Starting with Saturday, Jacksonville, Kansas City, traveling to Kansas City. Who you got in this game?
I don't think it'll be a blowout like maybe people think, but I still think the Chiefs will win, maybe by a touchdown, 10 points max.
What's your final score on that? What's your final score prediction?
What is my final? I think they'll win by 10. What did you say it was when they played earlier? Was it like 27-17?
Yeah,
I was thinking like 30. Yeah. I was thinking like 30-20 or something around that lines.
Okay. I'm gonna say Kansas City wins as well. And I think it's gonna be a 30-20, 30-26.
Oh, okay.
I think it's gonna be a close one.
Yeah.
I think 30-26 is a good score for that. Giants, Eagles. Who you got? You got the Birds?
I have the Birds. Yeah, I have the Birds. I think they'll win by a kick. I'll say the Birds by a kick. I think it'll be 27-24.
Yeah, I really want to have the Giants squash the Birds, but I just don't know. I've been so against these Giants this year, and I think that if the Giants prove me wrong, I have them going to the Super Bowl. No, I can't. Okay. I can't have San Francisco. If San Francisco loses, I can say the Giants will go to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah? I think they could beat Dallas.
Back to another division game for them. They'd be sick of seeing their division.
Yeah. Three of the 4 division teams are in the division. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think the Birds will win, though. I want to say I did say it was a 24-23 type of game, so I'm going to stick to that. Yeah,
that'd be if that's the scoreline or it's as close to that, it'd be a great game.
It definitely will be. Definitely will be. I think it'll be back and forth, but it's going to end in the kick. Yeah. Then we got Cincinnati and Buffalo, and I think you're going to go with Buffalo here.
No, I'm afraid I'm going with Cincinnati, and I'll go 20-17. They'll win by
20-17. 17? You think Buffalo's going to score 17 points?
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be low. I think the weather will have an impact, and the Bengals defense is not bad. So, wow. Yeah, I think it'll be low scoring.
I'm going to say Buffalo wins 23-21.
Okay.
2 points. Going on to Dallas and San Francisco. Who you got?
San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
The score. That's the thing. The score. Do you think it'll be as high as 37-30 or
Oh, you
36
think it's going to be
to
that high?
28 or something? I don't know.
I'll say mine because I said it earlier. I still think it's going to be like a 33-31 type of game, but
Yeah.
I mean, we could easily see like a 39-37 type of game too.
Yeah, I'm thinking 30, 36-30.
36-30.
Yeah,
San Francisco
maybe.
wins it.
Yeah.
So that they're highest scoring in they're the highest scoring in the Super Wild Card week and the divisional round.
Yeah. They prove that they can, their defense steps up when they need to, and they can score points from anywhere. So yeah, why not?
Interesting. All right. So the only game we have different is the game that we think that team will go to the Super Bowl.
Well, that's it. One of us is going to get it right. Well, hopefully, all the way through or has a chance to, but it all comes down to that game.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see. This is going to be such a good Sunday to watch.
Yeah.
Well, that's our divisional round preview, but now it's time for Keith and I to go and do the playoff fantasy draft. And as you can see on your screen, of course, we are sponsored by Trophy Smack and Underdog Fantasy. Again, Trophy Smack, if you'd like to get a trophy, a ring, a bell, any kind of cool bling, go to trophysmack.com/SportsTimeHQ. And of course, Underdog Fantasy, use code SportsTimeHQ. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. But it's time to check out the wild card week. And Keith ended up beating me. He beat me by a good amount. The final score was 173.42 to 140.16. Justin Jefferson definitely hurt me. Ken Walker hurt me as well. The only player that Keith really blew, if he had Evan Ingram, he would have had close to 200 points. But Noah Fant was the only guy that really did not do so good.
Oh, well, he's gone out now. Don't need to bother with Noah.
Yeah, of course. Definitely don't need to bother anymore. But you take a look at the screen now. Quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. There's different colors on certain players because now with players that Keith has picked, some of those players have won. Teams have won. So he cannot pick them for the rest of the playoffs. As for me, the only person I had was Evan Ingram. So I can't pick Evan Ingram for the rest of the playoffs as well. But again, we got to be strategic because we could take two quarterbacks that end up winning this week and then we can't use those. We'd have to rely on the other two quarterbacks that we didn't pick next week.
Yep, it's going to be tricky, I think, this one.
So, Keith, since you won, I will give you the first overall pick again.
Okay, so I will go with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. You know why you're going with him? Because you think he's going to lose. But
exactly.
But then you're not going to be able to. Yeah, but then you're not going to be able to use him next week.
So, yeah, why? Because you're saying he's going to win, then I won't be able to use him?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence.
Go pick.
So
yeah, that was on my radar for my other one, but since we are low on quarterbacks, I better get there first. So I will take Daniel Jones as my super flex.
Daniel Jones, really? You sure you want him? Because I was thinking of getting him.
I'm pretty sure we probably had the same, idea for quarterbacks.
I was so hoping to get him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since you don't need a quarterback, I can hold off on my quarterback. I will go with Travis Etienne. I'm going to stick to the running backs, sticking to the Jacksonville Jaguars game.
Yeah, it's a good pick. You'd be on my list, all right, to pick from. Who else got it there? I will take a wide receiver, I think. I will take T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. That's your first pick? T. Higgins?
This is my first pick. It's my first wide receiver pick.
Yeah, first wide receiver. T. Higgins? You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. T. Higgins is your pick. I really want to go running back still with this. Man. I think Who do I want to go? No,
It's
maybe
tough sledding here.
it really is because like I think I might go with a wide receiver. I think I will go with wide receiver. I will go with. Do I want Steph? You might take Stephon Diggs because you think the Bills are going to lose. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase.
Nice, good pick.
Yeah, I think with the Bengals losing,
Yeah, they won't lose. But you're right. I'll go with Stephon Diggs then to
Yeah.
match up with T. Higgins and have the Allen and Diggs stack.
All right, so Stephon Diggs is off the board. For some reason, Christian McCaffrey's jumping off the board to me.
Oh.
But I think I'm going to go with Joe Mixon.
Oh, okay. I was looking at Joe Mixon. But I was thinking I can't have.
Really? Joe Mixon. So you think the Bengals are going to lose?
Well, I already have T. Higgins.
Yeah, but T. Higgins, you picked him because you didn't want to go with Jamar Chase just yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I was doing it. I will take a running back. God, I'm going to be up built here. I'll take James Cook.
James Cook?
Yeah.
Why not Devin Singletary?
Yeah, actually, James Cook has more upside.
He's going to cook more fantasy points.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with CD Lamb.
I had him last week, didn't I? Did I have CD? Or you were that? No, I didn't have CD Lamb last
No,
week.
we had him in our.
We had him in our other one.
Yeah, in our other one.
Good pick. I will take Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk. Okay. I like it. In your flex?
Yep.
Okay. I like the pick. Well, I'm going to go with Dalton Schultz.
No, nice. That's a good pick.
I can't go wrong with him. I can't go with Evan Ingram. So, yeah.
You've taken that. So I look at running back now. And I will go for Tony Pollard. So my strength is definitely not a running back, but
no,
it's tough sledding there. So we'll see what happens when it comes back. So I still have some names to pick from after this week.
Yeah, your running backs. Your wide receivers and quarterbacks could hit very well and just eliminate that position for running backs easily.
Yeah. I'm interested to see because this is what I'm thinking of fantasy next year. I think I'm just going to go wide receiver heavy in most of my leagues and then take running backs later. Yeah, it's the way it's gone. It's more points definitely for the wide receiver position.
We've seen Jonathan Taylor and Miles Sanders has been okay. Cam Akers,
they're just so volatile. The wide receivers are usually more consistent, especially top guys.
Exactly. 100%. I will go with Dak Prescott as my quarterback.
Nice. Good pick. So I've just got a tight end left.
Yep.
And I will jump into the Eagles and take Dallas Goedert.
Really? You're not going to go with Evan Ingram?
No, I was considering Evan Ingram, to be honest. But no, I'm going to go Dallas Goedert. There's still enough on the board for me to take after that, then even if Evan's not there.
Yeah, I thought you would have gone with Evan Ingram since he's going to be eliminated.
I was going to go with him, but I just fancy Dallas Goedert this week.
So if Jacksonville wins, you could pick Evan Ingram next week.
Yeah, of course. The odds are not with me on that, but yeah.
I will go with Saquon Barkley to cap off this divisional round.
So you got some good running backs there.
I definitely got better running backs than you.
Yeah, your team's pretty nice this week now. You must be pretty confident with that one.
Oh, 100%. Of course, we need our bench player just in case.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't need to use him, but
yeah.
Okay,
I got a bench player. Let me look at the receivers to take a bench player.
Don't look at who I want. Don't do it. You're gonna do it.
No, I'm gonna take a chance. My bench player will be Isaiah Hodgins.
You did it.
Oh, did I?
You did it. I was really just about to say, I really hope he doesn't.
I thought it would be Devonta Smith, and then I was like, I'll take Isaiah Hodgins.
No. Who would have thought we would have picked Hodgins over Devonta Smith?
I know, right?
AJ Brown. I will, I guess, stick to the same guy I went with last week in Gabe Davis.
Good move.
You know,
I was looking. It was between. I was looking at Devonta Smith, Gabe Davis, or Hodgins. They were mentioned.
yeah, I was really hoping you would not pick Hodgins there, but you ended up picking him, and I don't like it. So of course our teams: Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Dak Prescott, and Saquon Barkley. For my team, for Keith's team, who is 1-0 and has 33 points ahead of me, is Josh Allen, James Cook, Tony Pollard, T. Higgins, Stephon Diggs, Dallas Goedert, and Brandon Ayuk, as well as Daniel Jones. Of course, his bench is Isaiah Hodgins. My bench is Gabe Davis. I guess we'll see who wins this week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think you'd be more confident than me, but it depends. See what happens. Are you pulling the points, or it's just going to be?
Yeah,
pull the points.
Yeah, I figured we could pool the points. Do you want to do the other way, or?
That's fine. We can pull the points, and then just I suppose you're keeping score anyway. So
yeah, I'll be doing it all. I'll be pulling the points. We can do the records too.
Exactly. Yeah. We do the records.
So
who knows? There might be a trophy at the end of it.
Who knows? Yeah, it could be a possible trophy.
Yeah.
But that is the fantasy playoffs draft between Keith and I. Of course, now we gotta end the show. Great sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you have not started betting, well, then you're doing it wrong. You got to start betting and go and download Underdog Fantasy on the App Store, Google Play Store, and use code SportsTimeHQ. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. So if you're trying to bet some over-unders, well, this is your time. You can get a free $100 if you just put in $100. And, you could end up a millionaire. Who knows? And you could just thank SportsTimeHQ for it. But also, if you want to get any bling, go to trophysmack.com/SportsTimeHQ. You can use that link to buy any type of bling you want: a ring, a fantasy football championship belt, a trophy, or maybe if you're in the office and you lost a bet to someone, you might as well get them a trophy too while you're at it. So once again, use trophysmack.com/SportsTimeHQ to order anything off Trophy Smack. But that's going to do it here today in our show. It's always a pleasure having Keith on, my co-host. Go follow him all over social media at SwampDonkey_90. But be sure to follow him and his fiance on Instagram at HuddleUp_NFL. You get to post some great NFL content, and you can brag how Keith is picking the Bengals to win the Super Bowl.
Don't know. I can brag. They can just be like, "Well, you're probably mad."
Yeah, But my name is Fernando. I am your host of Sports Time HQ. We'll see you all next week for the AFC and NFC championship weeks, where two teams will advance in each conference, and only one will make it to the Super Bowl. Once again, I'm Fernando. I was joined by my co-host Keith. We'll see you all next week. Goodbye.